My name is Dr. Jan Osten-Kaminsky. I'm one of the faculty in nursing here at CUNY SPS. I'm super excited to talk to you a little bit more about our program here. We also have the wonderful Darian Robinson, who's with us tonight to help me with any tech issues. And also, if I miss anything in the chat, we will get to that later. I think that yeah, okay, good. So he did start in the chat there to let us know what the best plan is in terms of questions as we go. I apologize if I miss questions as we're going. We will definitely have plenty of time to do Q&A at the end as well. So welcome. You're here to learn more about our degrees in nursing at CUNY SPS. We are a fully online asynchronous program, and we have been well before COVID. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here. That's me. No video tonight, but that's what I look like, I promise. I'm not wearing a bow tie right now, but other than that, that's about what I look like. This is our wonderful academic director, Dr. Margaret Riley. She is your go-to for many things, and she's the director of the program. You will find in our program one thing that I'll probably keep repeating many times is that even though we have a good number of students in our program, we have a lot of personalized attention from both the faculty and all the way up to Dr. Riley and above even Dr. Riley as well. We are always available to our students, and we develop personal relationships with our students. Even though we are an online program, we do know our students, and I think that we really do a good job of not letting you feel like you're lost in a big sea of an online program like some other schools. We really do have interaction with you, and we worry about you when we don't hear from you and all that stuff. So that relationships are a really big strength of our program, in my opinion. So let's talk a little bit about our nursing programs. Most of you are probably here for the RN to BS in nursing. I'm going to talk a little bit about the MS also, but the majority of you are probably here for the undergraduate program. So we're going to focus on that this evening. We do also offer an accelerated dual degree for students who know for sure they want to get their MS in nursing education, nursing informatics, or nursing organizational leadership. You can actually apply to go straight through and go straight through to your master's degree from your associate's degree. So I'll talk more about the details of that as well. So many of you are here wondering, your job may have said you have to earn a bachelor's degree, or you have been thinking about it, or a friend told you you need a BSN. And we want to talk to you about sort of why a bachelor's degree is important in our current nursing climate. Obviously, to enhance your professional knowledge, to enhance your opportunities for employment. Many of our students talk about having a hard time finding employment in the hospital, acute care settings that they desire to be in before they get their BSN. Once you get your BSN, you're much more likely to get a position in a hospital acute care setting. And then to prepare yourself for graduate education. Many of our students know ahead of time that they want to pursue graduate nursing education. And so the BSN obviously is the step on the way from associates to masters and beyond. Many of you are probably very familiar with the IOM report on the future of nursing, in which they recommended that nurses practice to the full extent of our educational training. So that means if you have a BSN, you want to practice as a BSN. If you're a nurse practitioner and you have a DNP, to practice to the full extent of that. And that by 2020, we wanted 80% of RNs to have a BSN. We didn't quite make that goal, but we're going to still go ahead and focus on continuing to achieve our higher levels of education so that BSN prepared nurses are spread out across the country. In New York, we have a little bit of a higher rate than some other places, but because of our BSN in 10. But we agree that nurses need to be full partners in redesigning healthcare in the US, and that there needs to be a data and information infrastructure for planning the workforce and policymaking in the future, and that who needs to be at the table for those conversations but nurses, right? Many of you have probably heard of magnet status. You may work in a facility that is either magnet recognized or attempting to become magnet recognized. In a magnet setting, 100% of nurse leaders and nurse managers must have a bachelor's degree or higher. So if you want to work in a magnet setting, then that's going to be something you're going to need to have. And A new standard for magnet is that 80% of RNs in the magnet setting need to be working to obtain a BS or MS at this time. Affordable Care Act, again, is something that's not super new anymore, but is something that we need to talk about and think about in terms of your bachelor's degree. There have been changes in the reimbursement structures, new roles for registered nurses like leadership roles, case management roles, health coaching roles, obviously the increased use of technology, and then the focus on interprofessional care. The ACA fundamentally changed how healthcare is delivered in the US, right? We know that nurses are in the best position to integrate this level of care to patients, families, and communities. And that when we enhance our education level, we're going to have the ability to contribute to this collaborative effort to provide patient-centered care. And so being a nurse, you're a key player in this model. And so in order to be a key player, you want to have the education to back yourself up. Now, we're in New York State, obviously. And in New York State, we have the BSN in 10. So that is even more focused than the national conversation. All future nurse graduates, that was of January 2018, as of January 2018, were required to get their BS within 10 years post-graduation. So we love our associate's degree programs. They prepare nurses to serve all across the city and across the state. But we also want to make sure that our nurses are going into a BS program and getting their BSN within 10 years in order to make New York State the state with the best patient outcomes based on BSN and higher prepared nurses. We have increasingly complex healthcare needs in our state and our nation, and we need to be prepared with nurses who can meet those needs. So now we've kind of discussed a little bit about why you would go back to school, and let's talk about what you should look for when you decide to enroll. This is across all schools. When you're doing your assessment, you're going to research the schools that offer RN to BSN programs. You're going to review the CUNY websites, the SUNY websites, the private school websites. You're going to think about what kind of program do they offer, the cost of the program, the time and location. Is it close to your job? Is it close to your home? Is it online? Is it on site? What about transferring credits? Is that going to be something that's going to work for you and be easy to do? What about the learning style? Are you someone who needs a traditional or face-to-face learning style? Or are you someone who's okay with online synchronous or asynchronous learning? These are all important questions, especially as we start to come out of COVID times a little bit, and some of the in-person programs do start to open back up with an in-person element. What are the requirements for being on site if you're in an online program? What assistance is offered in terms of clinical placement? Our program, for example, offers immense support with finding clinical placements and preceptors, or some places the students have to navigate this on their own. In terms of transfer credits accepted by CUNY SPS, we actually accept up to 105 undergraduate transfer credits, which is very high and very welcoming to students who have possibly an undergraduate degree in something else, and they're combining that with an associate's degree in nursing. They can transfer in up to 105 undergraduate credits. And we have admission in fall and in spring. What is our nursing culture here at CUNY SPS? We have a big focus on cultural diversity, and that doesn't just go for racial, ethnic, national background, immigration status. We also have a big discussion around lots of different cultures. For example, we just started a new elective course on LGBTQ+ health, and we work every day to think about diversity in everything that we do and how nurses interact with all sorts of people in all sorts of walks of life. And we want to help all of them enhance their self-care management. Interprofessional practice is so essential for nurses. That's something that I'm sure you've talked about in your associate's program, but that we continue to place an emphasis on here. I skipped over nurse as educator. Obviously, we know that's a huge role for us as nurses. And we do spend a lot of time in our program talking about health education and how you as a nurse have a role in your patient and client and family's lives to educate on the health process that the patient or family is going through. Evidence-based practice, I'm sure that you've heard that until you're blue in the face, but obviously we want to continue throughout our career to talk about how we apply evidence, research evidence into our practice across settings. And then leadership. the model that we believe in fosters development of leadership and collaboration skills, and we use that to apply evidence to practice. We're extremely proud at CUNY SPS of our hard work and the rigor of our program. Our actual campus site is on West 31st Street between 6th and 7th Avenue in Midtown. At this time, of course, with COVID, there's limited access to the on-campus buildings, even for faculty. But as we move forward, and again, moving out of COVID, hopefully we'll be back to being able to be in person at least some of the time, so that you can come and visit us if you ever want to see us. We are extremely, extremely proud that we were ranked 8th in the nation for best online bachelor's degree in 2021. That's the top 2% in the entire nation. Our programs are extremely rigorous. Our faculty is highly trained, motivated, and we really want you to be successful. Our BSN in nursing is accredited by CCNE, just so you know. So who are our students? Our students are also extremely diverse, coming from a wide range of associates programs, coming from a wide range of backgrounds and ages and nationalities, and diverse in every single way. Many are fully employed, working full-time as nurses, and might want a transition in their career. Maybe they, like I said before, maybe they want to go into an acute care setting, or maybe they want to move into a different type of nursing that really requires a bachelor's degree. There are people with families of their own. I also have 3 children of my own. I understand completely how we all need to balance our families, our work needs, our education, all of that. So we recognize that in our program. That's part of the reason why our program is asynchronous. Students who need a degree that fits their schedule. Again, why is our program asynchronous? Because you can do it on your time. You're working overnight and you have time at 3 a.m. to work on your discussion board. Fine, go ahead and work on your discussion board at 3 a.m. You have time on the weekend, do it on the weekend. You know, we're really open and flexible because it is a fully asynchronous program. So it doesn't happen. You don't have to be in a classroom online or in person, obviously, at any specific time. And one of the great strengths of our program that I love as a faculty member as well is we have people from all over the world. So you'll see in your classes students whose nationalities and backgrounds are extremely diverse and who have so much to bring to the table and so much to contribute to the conversation that really makes it a rich conversation for all of us. As I mentioned, at CUNY SPS, our community is something that is extremely vibrant and important to us. There is a huge amount of support for students and student services. So even though you're in an online program, don't think that you're just going to be floating out on your own trying to figure everything out. We provide everything from an online student orientation 2 weeks prior to the start of classes, in which peer mentors and faculty assist students transitioning to an online learning environment. We have a dedicated advisor. Each student has a dedicated advisor who stays with them during the entire time you're in the program. It's not like you have a new person every semester and you're trying to chase them down. This is a person who you're assigned to when you first start the program, and they get to know you and your goals very well, and they stay with you during your entire program. Tutoring, we have lots of tutoring options. We have online tutoring. Right now, everything is online tutoring. We used to have on-campus tutoring, but at this moment that's paused because of COVID. But we have tutoring.com, and we have writing and quantitative fellows. Those are tutors who are available to help you with your writing issues and also your quantitative or math issues as well. Library, we use the Baruch College Library, the Baruch Newman Library. And as a student, you have online access to all CUNY libraries. It's a huge system of libraries, and you can really get anything that you could ever possibly want, including articles, books, media, anything that you could be looking for, you can find across the CUNY library system. And also your CUNY ID gives you access to many cultural institutions all across the city too, which is wonderful, museums and that type of thing. The CUNY SPS Help Desk is available to assist you with technical issues. They are there for us as well as faculty. They are invaluable when it comes to tech support, because obviously we're working in a fully online environment. So when you need tech support, you need it right away, right? And they're always responsive and they're always helping. And I'm extremely grateful to them many times over for all the help they've ever given me as well. So career services is pretty self-explanatory, but obviously they offer career workshops, networking opportunities, job preparation assistance. Many of our nursing students are very directed in terms of what they want and uh, how they want the next steps of their career to look, and career services can assist you with that. So in our CUNY SPS program, it's a little different than some of the programs you might be coming from. You're admitted directly to the nursing program. So it's not like you have to apply to our school and then again apply for nursing. You're admitted into the major. So you start your nursing courses right away. There's not time limits in terms of science courses. The courses are offered fall, spring, winter, and summer sessions. We do a full orientation, as I mentioned, before the start of classes. I am leading that one in August for the next group of students, and you may have seen, if you had looked online, that I led the last one. I really enjoy leading these. I'm looking forward to leading them in person again. I hope that will be soon. We do have some wonderful scholarship programs that are available to you after you're already a student and enrolled. These programs are available for students who are currently enrolled students who have completed several credits already, but they're great opportunities in terms of financial assistance with completing your program. In exchange for doing service to the program, you are basically your coursework is fully reimbursed throughout the rest of your program. You have to apply to those after you've taken 9 credits, you've successfully completed 9 credits, then you're able to apply for those, and you can learn more. These slides, by the way, are going to be fully available to you after the presentation, so you can always go online and look through all of this as well. And then, of course, there's the CUNY name and quality education. CUNY is known worldwide, nationwide, citywide. We are a highly rigorous program within CUNY. And when you're going to CUNY, you're going to get a quality education, and SPS is absolutely no exception to that. Here are some of the unique learning experiences we have at CUNY SPS. I will let you know that some of this stuff right now is, again, on pause this semester because of COVID, but we really hope that things will start to open up again in terms of our standardized patient program, which is, as you can see in the top right corner there, where students interact with actors who are playing the role of patients, and you communicate with them, do therapeutic communication with them and assessment in order to kind of like a mock patient, you know what I mean? And that's a wonderful, wonderful program. Students really get a lot out of that. International service learning, again, also is on pause. We have some wonderful programs where students have traveled to Haiti, Guyana, to another couple locations as well, in order to do some international service learning in community health. Again, those are on pause, but we hope to get those going in the future as well. And then there's Shadow Health, which is our online virtual patients. You may have worked with Shadow Health in your associates program before. In Shadow Health, you go on to the Shadow Health site and you can complete assessment and then do therapeutic communication with a patient who is a virtual patient. So it's really cool because it gives you an opportunity to work with this patient in a virtual setting, even when we can't go into the simulation center and to the clinical sites. So some of you may have had experience learning online before, but many of you have not. So what is it like to learn online? In our program, as I mentioned before, it's an asynchronous program. Asynchronous means that you don't have to be in class at any specific time. You can attend class and contribute to your course sites at any time that works for you. Our classes are small, very small size, 18 to 25 students. Most have around 20. And that enables us as faculty to develop very warm personal relationships with our students because we get to know you in those small classes. Even though you're online, you definitely get to know your professors, you get to know your classmates, you move through your program with them, definitely. We estimate your weekly work per course is about 8 to 10 hours. So when you're thinking about how many per week, that is, when you're thinking about how many courses to take, please do take that into consideration. I always, get concerned when I hear students are working full time and they're taking 3 classes or more classes than that. You really want to pace yourself. So if you're working full time, I really don't recommend more than 1 to 2 courses per semester. And definitely computer. You're going to need to have a computer that's going to be fully able to access Blackboard and all of the other platforms that you're going to need in order to be successful in this program. So I recommend that before starting the program that you have that computer ready to go and that you've already oriented yourself to it. And again, here's a link to that orientation as well, which you would do before you started. So time management. When you're in an asynchronous program, it's a lot about you and how you manage your time. I recommend to students at orientation that you sit down with your planner, whether that's on whether it's a paper planner or your phone or whatever works for you, and you make time in your planner for all the things you're going to need to do during the semester. One thing that I think is a strength of our program is that we have it all laid out for you at the beginning of the semester, all the things you're going to need, all the tests, all the papers, all the discussion boards. So for example, if you start in this August, in August what you're going to have to do August, September, October, November, and December until that course is finished. There's no surprises. There's no, stuff that pops up. Obviously, of course, in the COVID situation, we had to change some things on the fly, but in a normal semester, there's no surprises. You're able to plan out your time all the way from the beginning of the semester. Again, make sure you have that computer, make sure you have Wi-Fi, get Blackboard on your mobile device, although it's not super on the mobile device, but it's nice to have it there. Definitely put your email on your mobile device and be aware of your tech support contact information. Some student perspectives. These are coming from students who are already admitted. So just so you have their perspective, set your due date the day before an assignment is due. So in case you have a crisis on a Sunday night, it's due at midnight, you're not trying to email your professor at 11:30 on a Sunday night when, of course, most likely that professor is going to be sound asleep and not going to be able to get back to you. If you set your due date the day before, you can get it in. And then if you have a crisis, you can reach out to somebody. Do not procrastinate. Same information. Get a planner, whether that's on your phone, in an app, in a paper planner, and make sure you establish those times to read, respond to assignments, and get yourselves organized. Life happens, right? We all have extremely busy lives and a lot of chaos right now, especially with COVID. So please, when you are a student, please be proactive in seeking help and letting your instructor know you're having a situation, because the professor will not be able to read your mind and they really want to be there for you and support you, but they need to know what's going on. Do you feel overwhelmed? You got to deal with it, right? I mean, that's true for all of us in all aspects of life and definitely in our school programs as well. If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to somebody, reach out to your advisor, reach out to your professor. We're going to be there for you. We're going to be able to help you, and we're going to help break down your task into smaller pieces so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And again, this is written by students who already are in the program, but you should feel already accomplished. You made it into the nursing program. And for your perspective tonight, you're already accomplished. You made it to our information session, and you already made the decision to apply. For many of you, to our program or for another program. So it's something to be really proud of. Here's just an example. It's kind of the page got a little stretched here, but this is an example of what one of our Blackboard sites look like. So you can see how on the left-hand side, you're going to see lined up announcements and information about your instructor, about the course. You're going to see weekly materials. As I said, on the first day of class, you can see weekly materials for the entire semester, all the assignments that are due, discussion boards, all of that. So this is kind of just a little sample of what a Blackboard site looks like. If you haven't worked with Blackboard before, definitely take some time to do some tutorials online so you're ready to go. But it is very straightforward and easy to work with. Here's an example of what our weekly materials look like. Again, this is just a sample screenshot of what a given week would look like in a class. So, for example, week 1 of this class, you're going to read some of your texts. It's going to have a specific assignment. Review the links, review the lecture notes, participate in a discussion board, and then of course in week 1 you have some acknowledgements and registrations to do. So this is how these Blackboard sites look. So you can go through the entire site each week and write it into your planner, enter it into your planner, however you're setting up. And so you can be ready to be successful. So let's talk a little bit about the curriculum. That's really what you want to learn more about, I'm sure, which is a traditional but innovative nursing curriculum. So our nursing curriculum is 30 nursing credits, which starts with transition to professional nursing and health assessment. Then you work on a course on health teaching. You do your first clinical, which is in community nursing, then nursing informatics, nursing research, global health, and then you complete a leadership and management capstone working with a preceptor. And you also complete a nursing elective. Some of our electives are palliative care, aging, case management, as I mentioned, the LGBTQ plus health course, and then independent study if none of those can work for you. Additionally, you have to complete 9 program credits. Those are in pathophysiology, chemistry, and statistics. And then there are additional gen ed and elective credits to meet that 120 credits for your BSN. So that is just kind of an overview. And then here is one suggestion. We have kind of a suggested path. And that is our curriculum sequence. This is a recommended sequence. It's not going to work for every student because every student has a different life and different needs and different time management issues. But this is how we suggest that you proceed through your coursework. And I kind of verbalized that before, but you get the idea here of how you proceed and how you would wrap up the coursework in 4 semesters. Now that's just the nursing coursework. That's not going to be if you have other classes that are missing other than the program courses that we talked about before. Clinical options. The 303 class is community nursing, and that's 45 clinical hours. So you can either do self-placement. Some students like to do it in their place of employment, but in a different department, for example. And then you have our placement where we at CUNY SPS assist you to find a clinical placement. And those are 1 day a week, 7 weeks long with a clinical faculty member, either at a senior center or a community program, and then in the international service trip option when that's available. Unfortunately, obviously, as I mentioned, not right now, but that is our first clinical, that's nursing community health. And then our second clinical, Nursing 499, Capstone in Leadership and Management, is a 90-hour clinical requirement. So that's 1 day a week times 15 weeks. Days and hours of the day are flexible because you're working with a preceptor. You're going to be working on a project with quality improvement and patient safety. And that's going to be your full semester long experience. So you're going to be in a course working with a faculty member and at the same time in the clinical setting working with a preceptor. Preceptors and sites are available on the weekdays. Some students choose to do evenings if it works for your schedule. You can self-select your preceptor and clinical site, but it has to be approved by the program, or we can give you nursing clinical placement assistance with that as well. And I know this is a lot of information to take in, so you will be able to take a look at this, on your own time as well. I do want to make sure I have enough time for questions at the end. So transfer credits, as I mentioned, bachelor's degree candidates are eligible to transfer up to 105 academic credits. You can also have your portfolio evaluated if you have knowledge and expertise outside of the classroom that you're coming in with. And then we also have CLEP exams, the college level examination program that offer nationally recognized subject area examinations. So those are some prior learning assessment options that you would have coming in for our program. So the big important question that a lot of students want to make sure they understand fully is, what is my tuition and fees going to look like when I'm a CUNY student? We have some of the most affordable credits in the entire city and the entire area. Our credits for undergraduate are $305 per credit for part-time. Most courses are 3 credits, so that would be $915 for a 3-credit course. If you are not working full-time and you want to enroll as a student full-time, then that would be $3,465 for the semester, and that's full-time 12 credits. Now, remember, this is this year. If you're starting in the future, it might be slightly more. In-state rates apply to all students enrolled in online degree programs. So you do not have to be a New York State resident to get the in-state credit cost. And then obviously financial aid programs do qualify for federal, state, and private aid. So you want to make sure you're going to speak to a financial aid counselor about your specific situation if you would like to apply. So how do you get into this program? You're definitely going to need to have your diploma or associate's degree in nursing, an unencumbered New York State nursing license, registered nurse license, and registration. We do select a small number of new grads who are in their last semester before they have taken the NCLEX, but the majority of our students are already fully licensed. If you are nearing the end of your program and you're pre-licensure, we can discuss with you about the options there, but most students are licensed already when they start the program. You do write a short admission essay. You have to have a 3.0 GPA. Of course, your official transcripts with which if you were a CUNY student for your associate's degree, we can access and assist you with that easily. If you were not a CUNY student or you have transcripts from outside of CUNY, you'll need to have those sent in. On the application, you're going to go to the cuny.edu website, the admissions website, and you're going to go ahead and click apply now. It looks like that. And for fall admission, if you're interested in applying for this fall, the priority due date, oops, I have a little typo there, but the priority due date is the first week of April. Okay, so that's coming up around the corner. So I want to make sure you're kind of getting that in your head that you want to get your materials together. We would love for you to apply early and get you moving forward and ready to start your program in August. If you are interested in applying for next spring, the priority due date is the first week of November. Okay, so that is to give you an idea of the time frame moving forward. So I mentioned earlier about the accelerated degree. The accelerated degree basically cuts off about 15 credits. If you know for sure you want to go straight through from your associates to your BS to your MS in one of these three options, nursing education, nursing informatics, or nursing organizational leadership, then you can actually substitute several courses, 15 credits worth of courses with advanced courses, and then you end up getting your master's degree at the end of it. So it's a total of 150 credits instead of 120. So remember I said the BSN was 120 credits. If you did both of these degrees separately, it would be 165 credits. So if you do them in an accelerated dual degree, it's actually 150 credits. So you're kind of saving, quote unquote, 15 credits, which adds up in terms of the finances of everything, and is a great option for students who really know what they want to do in the future and want to go straight through for their master's degree. And both degrees are awarded on completion of the entire program. Here's an example of how that would be set up. You have your same 300 level courses until you get to the nursing informatics, and that one is satisfied by nursing 615 instead, which is advanced nursing informatics. See the same thing with nursing research. It's satisfied by advanced nursing research. So you get the idea. That's how you kind of cut off those 15 credits. Here's the core courses of the MS degree. So if you're thinking of going into the accelerated program, here are the core courses. We have all three tracks have the same core courses for the first 9 courses: policy and ethics, nursing theory and role development, healthcare finance and management, advanced practice health assessment, advanced practice pathophysiology, advanced practice pharmacology, advanced nursing informatics, statistics for advanced practice nurses, and advanced nursing research. Then when you get into your specialty track, then it kind of changes a little bit based on your track. So you can see here that based on each of your tracks, you're going to be taking different courses for the final courses of your program. For example, in nursing education, you're going to be doing curriculum and program planning, pedagogical strategies, measurement and evaluation, and then your nursing education practicum and your graduate elective. So you see how that's where the track changes a little bit for each specialty. In terms of your admission for the accelerated program, you need to have your associate's degree. You still need that strong GPA, unencumbered RN license and registration, your admission essay, and 2 letters of recommendation who are people who you have worked with and know your work well and who would recommend that you were a strong student for an accelerated program. You also need your current resume, and you need a project that you worked on in your school or in your workplace, an evidence-based practice project. So something that you're working on, it could be your capstone project that you can present, a description of within your admissions application, so that we know that you're research-minded. For example, capstone project, quality improvement initiatives at your facility. You're going to talk about how did you participate in that, what was the rationale, and include references to the evidence. So we know that you understand what you were doing in your terms of your evidence-based practice project in your facility. So again, what is the application process? You're going to go to www.sps.cuny.edu, and you're going to select the specific program that you want to apply for. So you see, majority of you are applying for the RN to BS in nursing, and then some of you might be applying for the accelerated program, so the RN to BS MS in nursing education, nursing informatics, or nursing organizational leadership. So if you are already a CUNY student, you will be able to be in your CUNY First account. If you're not a CUNY student, you're going to be creating a new account, and then you're going to be filling that out. Just to give you an idea of what the visual looks like, future students on the left, CUNY students on the right. And if you're a CUNY student, as I said, you're applying in your CUNY First account. We have access to anything that you give access to there as well. This is what the site looks like when you get into it. It's going to keep moving you through. And the question that we want to ask and end with tonight is, will you be prepared to take on the next generation of nursing, how nursing is changing in the future, how technology is changing things for us, how the pandemic is changing things for us? Will you be prepared? And we believe at CUNY SPS that we can really, truly offer you an education that prepares you for the future and that prepares you for the high tech and high intensity settings of the acute care setting, but also for the community health and other settings that are outside of the acute care setting where most of nursing, as you well know, takes place. I'm going to give you our contact information here. I'll give you a couple of minutes here to write that down. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead to the chat and see if there's any questions so far. Okay, nothing yet in chat. I'm going to go to Q&A. Okay, great. So I see from Pay, I'm going to leave this over here so you can get these numbers written down. What is the application process for students who will not have an RN license and will take? So I think I probably answered a little bit of that in the conversation after you had already asked that. But basically, yes, we take a limited number of students who have not completed their RN licensure yet. And the only thing I will recommend, as Pay sounds like they're doing, you're likely going to take your NCLEX in August. I really do recommend you take your NCLEX before you start the program or as soon as possible after starting the program, because you really don't want to be held up. If heaven forbid you end up not passing the NCLEX, you don't want to be delayed in your program because you can't go into the clinical setting and that type of thing. And then Kyung Yi asks, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, how many clinical courses do students have? So it's nursing 499, correct. And then it's nursing 303, which is a community health program course. And then that's a 45-hour clinical requirement. And then the third course, it does have a little bit of a clinical element. It's not really technically a clinical course, but it's our health assessment course where you're doing the virtual patient with shadow health. So those are the two questions I see so far. All right. And then, okay, I see Carmen says, are credits accepted from institutions other than CLEP? Yes, definitely. So if you went to, for example, NYU or something like that, absolutely, CUNY accepts credits from other accredited institutions, and the admissions department will tell you how many credits they're accepting as you're, going through the process, so that you know exactly what you're going to have to retake or you're going to have to pay for moving forward. Christopher asked, minimum is 3.0, but what is a competitive GPA and letter grade for acceptance? A competitive GPA is 3.0. Yep, absolutely. And our students, we do look at your entire portfolio, but yes, a 3.0 is a competitive GPA for acceptance. Yep, good question. And our Facebook, CUNY SPS Nursing, we urge you to follow us there. We do post jobs and that kind of thing there as well. That's our email address. And I would be happy to take some time. We actually have about 20 minutes. So I would be happy to take some time to answer as many questions as you have here. So Janessa asks, how long does the BSMS combined program usually take? So that is a good question, Janessa, because it is really personal for each student. If you come into the program and you need to take 30 nursing credits and then another 30 credits for your master's degree, it could take you minimum of 4 years. I recommend, if students are working, which most of our students are, that they take their time to complete the program, because we'd rather that you do really well in the program and that you're a really strong student than feel overwhelmed and taking 14 classes I'm not 14, I'm exaggerating, but taking 4 classes at a time and feeling overwhelmed and getting behind. So it really is up to each student, but typically 4 or 5 years. Yep. Tatiana asked about admission essays. So they will give you a prompt in the application. I don't want to give you the wrong information, but it will prompt you specifically what they're asking for. So you can look online a little bit and talk about admission essays for nursing, but most times they're asking for, what brought you to nursing, or what made you interested in this program, that type of thing. But I recommend that when you're going through the application that you use the prompts that they have posted there. And Lisa asked, if we don't want to go full-time, is there a minimum amount of courses? The minimum amount is 1 course per semester. If you take 1 course one semester and then you take no courses the next semester, then you must take a course the 3rd semester in order to not have to reapply. If you take 0 courses for more than one if you skip more than 1 semester is what I'm trying to say, you will need to reapply, which is a pain in the neck. So I recommend, if you can't go full-time, that you're taking 1 to 2 classes, but you don't skip any semesters, because you really don't want to slow yourself down. You want to keep the momentum going.
Hey, Jan, I'm sorry, Jan.
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, we have plenty of people sending in questions to the chat. Just a friendly reminder, it might be easier for Jan to see your questions if you type them into the Q&A.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, Darian. Yep. So I don't have to toggle back and forth. I think if you can put them all in the Q&A, then I'll go in order so that I don't miss anything, because I don't want to miss something that you really want me to answer. Olivia asks, are there any prerequisite courses for the winter or summer online courses? I maybe need a little clarification on that one. Are you asking, are there, which courses are offered in winter and summer? That does change every year, because based on student need, but there are intro level courses that are offered in the summer, if that's kind of what you're asking. Winter nursing has very limited courses offered in winter, because our courses are very, as you know, nursing, it's very intense. So they're not all ideal for that very short winter semester, but we do offer a couple courses in the winter semester. So definitely keep an eye peeled for which courses are offered, but we do have courses at all different levels there. Yuri asks, how can we submit transcripts for transcript review? That is done through the admissions department. The admissions department reviews all transcripts and information for each individual applicant. So they'll take a look at your transcript and let you know exactly how many credits you have left to complete. And I find that to be very helpful for students making their decision, because you don't want to get into the program and then all of a sudden find out that you really needed to repeat 10 different classes, right? So the admissions department will fully analyze your transcript and review it and let you know exactly what is missing. And that all goes on your CUNY, on your CUNY first, so you can really see your full program as you complete things. Can one apply for RN to BS for now and switch over? Yes, I believe that, Karina, that you have to complete 9 credits and then you can consider applying for the accelerated program. Yep. Pei asks that associates to MS gets a BSN and master's degree on completion. So, right, exactly. Good question, Pei. You would not have your BSN until you complete both of them. Very good question. So, right, you get both of them when you graduate from your master's degree. You then are awarded both degrees. So you would not, it's not like you get awarded your BS on the kind of on the way in the middle. Okay, does that make sense? So that is correct, that you would not have your bachelor's degree until the end of your master's program. Olivia asked, how many days a week are the clinicals? So the nursing 303 is 7 weeks, 8-hour days on 1 day a week. And then the nursing 499 it varies, because it varies by preceptor. You might be working with a preceptor who does 12-hour shifts, so you might want to try to put in more hours one week or less hours the next week. But in total, for nursing 499, it's 90 hours, 90 hours in one semester. And in total for nursing 303, it's 45 hours in the semester, okay? Yunatan asks, if you have not submitted an application for dual joint at the beginning, now you want to apply as a senior, that is a good question you would have to ask at your associate's degree school, okay? So that is, I think what Yunatan is asking is, for example, if you're at QCC and you wanted to switch over to the dual joint program, you would have to ask at QCC, okay? So yep, you can ask them in that program. Gael asks, does this CUNY nursing department offer internships and job readiness programs? We do have a very active career services department, and they assist with finding all sorts of different internships, externships, fellowships, anything that you might be interested in. They're there for you, and very attentive to our students and their interests. Can international students apply? Actually, that is a question I'm not 100% sure about. So let me put that in the notes, and I will ask my director to get back to you, okay? No problem, Yuri, no problem. And Christopher, what careers does the MS Nurse Leadership major prepare one for? A lot of students who are in our nursing leadership major in the master's program are nurse managers, or they desire to be nurse managers. And many hospitals do require an MSN in order to be a nurse management or higher than nurse management. So those are the types of students that we mostly see in that nursing leadership MSN degree. In acute care settings, in community settings, in a wide variety of settings. So yes, many of those jobs do require a degree of that major, or they require a general MS degree, but our students choose the nursing leadership major. And that's true across all sorts of different settings. So, that nursing leadership one is very appealing for a lot of different students because it does work from a variety of different settings. Okay, so Kyung-Yi asked again, I am a QCC nursing student, applied and admitted to SPS. Congratulations, that's wonderful. Oh, Gael, I pronounced your name right. I'm so glad. Is nursing 303 and nursing elective waived? QCC nursing student applied and admitted. No, the elective might be, you'd have to look and see, because sometimes the elective you fulfilled with something else, but the community health one, are you in the dual joint program? Maybe that's what you're asking. You would have to double check on your transcript in terms of what is fulfilled and what is not fulfilled, okay? I don't want to give you the wrong information because it's, each student I want to make sure gets exactly the right personalized information. So double check on your transcript review what they've said there. If they say that it's waived, then it's waived. Okay, Gael asked, attended a CUNY school 10 years ago and graduated an associate's degree. Yes, it is in all likelihood your credits can be fully transferred. Again, you're going to want to make sure you get that transcript reviewed. But I have seen students who, got their associate's degree many years ago, even more than 10 many times, and their credits are fully transferable. So in all likelihood, yes. And certainly if you get your transcript reviewed, they'll be able to give you a very specific answer. How will we access the presentation for later review? Darian, is this presentation on the admissions website, or where does it end up?
So this will be sent out in a follow-up email in a few days. So everyone who attended, we like to send out a follow-up email just to check in. You're gonna get a YouTube link, copy and paste into the email that you can click and watch if you want to review the video.
Perfect, that's awesome. So that will be a great way for you to access it. And then I know a lot of students who aren't able to attend at the time of the presentation also can access it later. We do find a lot of students, obviously, with work schedules and all that type of thing, if they can't access it live, they do end up, taking a look at it later on down the line. Okay. Yep, no problem, Christopher. All right, we have about 10 more minutes. What other questions might you have? I think one of the things that I like to talk about most about CUNY SPS is that we really have such a personalized approach to our students. We all, as faculty, work together to make sure that students are not falling through the cracks, especially during this challenging time, of course. We want to make sure that you're all under control, not overwhelmed, and that we're all working together for your success. I mean, we know you're adults, you're not kids. You're adult working adults with your own children and your own mortgages and your own jobs, and we want to make sure that we support you. So I think it's a real strength of our program that we do that. Okay, Pei is asking, for KBCC, graduate in June, get your NCLEX code in July or August. You can apply again with that, Pei. I really want our students to put all their energy into studying for the NCLEX, and I want you to pass it on the first try. So I don't want you to be too distracted by starting the program without, without the NCLEX, you absolutely can apply. Again, we only do accept a limited number of students pre-licensure. So please feel free to apply if you're a strong candidate. But understand that if for some reason you don't get in without your license, that then once you are licensed, I recommend you reapply again. So definitely apply for the deadline and hope that you study really hard for that NCLEX and pass it on the first try. And Navjot said, if a student had no credit on his transcript, is that student eligible to apply? I don't understand what you mean. Maybe you can clarify that a little bit for me? No credit on your transcript. Like if you don't have a previous nursing degree? I'll wait and let you clarify that one for me. And yeah, so in normal times, non-COVID times, we also have a very vibrant campus life. So even though you're an online student, it's not like you're an online student where you don't have a building that you can go to if you want to hang out with people or study or meet your faculty. We do have 2 beautiful buildings right in Midtown, very conveniently located. And again, in post-COVID times, we're going to be back in there and we'll be able to see you and meet with you, and you can meet your fellow students. And it's really a lovely community. So even though it's an online program, we do have the in-person option as well. Okay, Janessa asks, is that nursing email the right place to ask about transfer credits? It is, but actually the more useful is the admissions department, which just, if you don't mind, because I don't want to leave my screen share right now, if you Google SPS, CUNY SPS admissions, they'll be the ones who do the full transfer credit review. And they'll be able to take a look at your previous undergrad degree. If it was from an accredited institution, I find that CUNY is very good about accepting credits from other accredited institutions. You may find that you don't have to take an elective, or you don't have to take, maybe you took chemistry as part of your, previous program. You don't have to take that again. So I definitely recommend you go through the admissions department to have that transcript review done. Okay, so if a student got no credit in a course, like if you did a credit, no credit while CUNY was on credit, no credit, maybe that's what you mean. Yes, if your GPA is still strong and you just did a no credit option because of COVID, you absolutely should still apply, as long as your GPA is 3.0 or greater. Yep. Great questions. Yep, no problem, Navjot. Ivy asks, is there a mentoring program for new applicants into programs with seniors to assist with guidance for the first couple semesters? Yes, you actually do. You're assigned a peer mentor, and the peer mentor is someone who's been in the program and can definitely be a guidance for you. We do have a lot of students who volunteer for the, mentoring, because it is very satisfying to help new students and kind of get you oriented. If you find that you need more assistance and guidance during that first, couple of semesters, and absolutely reach out to the faculty, and we can connect you, to someone for a longer period of time as well. You'll find most of your mentoring is going to be coming from not only that peer mentor, but also from your faculty and from your advisor as well. And Rebecca asked, how long is the program? So the program is really what you make it. It's different for different students, because some people take one course at a time because they have a very busy work and family life, and some students want to go full-time in the program and then they get done much more quickly. The average amount of time is right around 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years. And if you're still finishing your RN program in August, you can apply to start in fall. But again, as I mentioned before, there's a limited number of students who are admitted before, while they're pre-licensure. So I recommend, if you do not get in, that you apply in the future. You may be, Rebecca, a better candidate, for example, for the spring of 2022, because you're going to want to spend the fall really focusing on studying for your NCLEX and passing that. But again, that's a very personal choice. Everyone, if you are really dedicated and you want to keep moving forward, that's your prerogative. Absolutely. Okay, and Xiaoshua asks, can we apply for SPS if we don't have a 3.0 GPA? You can apply for it if you are providing supporting documents and evidence that, there's a reason that you don't have a 3.0 GPA. Maybe you had a family crisis one semester and that messed up your whole GPA and you got an F for everything that semester, but then your other grades are all very strong. Obviously, we do look at each student individually, and if we see something like that and the student explains what happened, on occasion, we do admit a student who is slightly lower than that. But it really is, we do have a pretty rigorous program here. So we want students coming into it to be highly prepared and ready to work hard and do well. The EOP is equal opportunity program. So if you're in that, you'll know. If you're not in that, then you do not have to click that. If you need to take a semester off, would you be kicked out of the program? No. 1 semester off, you can take no problem. It's when you take more than 1 semester that you have to reapply. And that's kind of a pain in the neck because then you have to redo all of that application process and all that stress. So, but if you have to take 1 semester off, that's not a problem. Like, for example, somebody has a baby or needs to take care of a family member, that kind of thing, that's totally fine. Karina asked about taking a class in summer in order to graduate. Oh, you're taking in your associate's program. Yes, you can submit in April or you can submit in June. And for the fall, I'm assuming you're asking. The priority deadline is in April, but you can let them know again, you're near graduation. However, that being said, again, we only take a limited number of students who are pre-licensure. Majority of students are, have their license already, because basically we don't want you to be overwhelmed by studying for your NCLEX and taking courses in your BSN program. And Rebecca asked, when does the fall semester start? I think this fall it starts August 25th, something like that. It's late August. Yep. Okay, we have 3 minutes. I have a couple time for questions. A retention rate for students who applied to RN to MSN. I actually don't have that number offhand, Ivy. I'm not sure. Our retention rate in general is quite high. That's part of the information that we submit to our accrediting body. And our retention rate is really quite high generally. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to give you incorrect information specifically about the MS program. But I do know that if you go into the MS dual accelerated program, you can always drop back down if you need to, if you realize that, oh gosh, this is way too stressful for me and it's not going to work for me. So yeah, you can absolutely bump back down to the MSN program. So, okay, we have 2 minutes. Is there one more question that anybody has? And I'm really appreciative of all of your great questions. It really is helpful to clarify for your fellow students what some of the major issues might be. And I really recommend that you go ahead and email us at nursing@sps.cuny.edu if you have any other questions. I'm happy to answer questions as well. If you want to, just search my email on our CUNY SPS website and email me. I'm happy to answer your questions or refer you to somebody who can. And otherwise, it was great to meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in courses and hopefully in the fall. Oh, one last question from Christopher: passing the NCLEX before applying. I'm just saying I recommend focusing on the NCLEX, but you can apply in your final semester. But I just don't want you to distract from your studying for the NCLEX. That's all. Okay, wonderful. It is officially 7 o'clock and I have to go ahead and log off, and we're going to keep this whole recording so that you can refer back to it. Please feel free at any time to email us and contact us about any questions that you might have in your application process. And I hope to see you all in classrooms in the fall. Take care, everyone. Darian, thank you so much for working together tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. No problem.
Take care, everyone.